Hey guys, thanks for all the awesome feedback on our S21 collection overview video. If you haven't watched it yet, you can watch it up here. But obviously all the feedback we've got from that, everyone wants me to do a really great review on these Pro Tour Limiteds. So let's get into it. Right, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at the S21 Pro Tour Limiteds. You've been asking a lot of questions about these in the comments, and certainly in store they've been quite a hit so far. So let's have a little closer look at it. We looked at them quite quickly in the overview video of the S21 collection, but I'll take you through a little bit more detail now, and we can have a look at the subtle differences there are between the two. So what we carry in store and in South Africa is the Pro Bow and the Low Bow. It also comes in the mid bow, but not a hugely popular model for us here in store. So these are the two that we've opted to go for. Very similar sticks. So when we talk about Pro Bow and Low Bow, it's a subtle difference in the curve of the bow. So that's really the only difference that you're gonna, really the only physical difference in the sticks. From a design point of view or a visuals, you'll notice that the colors are slightly different, and that's easier for us to differentiate in store. But from a composition point of view, these sticks are exactly the same. 100% carbon fiber. This made from Japanese carbon fiber from Toray. That's the largest carbon fiber producer in the world, and makes the absolute best, most premium carbon fiber. So you can sort of rest assured that the absolute best materials have gone into the production of these sticks. That's obviously why they perform as well as they do, and why they're so popular. So I'm going to have a look at the Low Bow first. That's this one over here, and we'll quickly just touch on some of the specs in this that this Low Bow comes in. So just from a visuals point of view, you've got these really awesome sort of reflective foils. They're really cool. In sun, you can see they really glisten and they're quite eye-catching over distance. But from a specs point of view, all of the sticks they come with the soft touch compound on the head itself. We call it grip grit a lot of the time, and this really is a rough surface that helps keep control of the ball. So obviously if we're playing on wet Astros or in the rain, obviously a lot of moisture can get involved here, and this surface just helps sort of really keep control of the ball. So it is pretty vital. Over time this does wear a little bit, but that's quite common, but you'll definitely notice it in the beginning when you have your stick. It's got a full sort of maxi head shape, very common with Osaka. It's a nice head shape. It's more than ample enough. It makes it easy on the backhand, makes it easy on receives. So yeah, very traditional Osaka style with this head shape. Right, so when we're looking at the differentiation between this Low Bow and the Pro Bow, we said that it is in the bow. So this is a Low Bow. On the Low Bow mold, its maximum bow height is at 200 mils from the head, and the maximum height is 24 mils. So that is right sort of on the limit of where the FIH allow the stick specs to be in. The Pro Bow, I'll show you shortly, that's slightly higher. And you can notice these when we hold these two sticks together, you actually can notice that there's a really subtle difference in the bow. You'll notice on the Low Bow the head just seems to sit slightly more forward and more open, and that's just because the maximum bow height is just slightly closer to the head. So very popular in South Africa. I know in Europe the Pro Bow is pretty popular as well, but in South Africa we find the 37.5 Low Bows are our sort of more popular varieties. If we look obviously at the design on this, it's still following the same S21 arcade game design features. So we'll see these really cool graphics, and it all sort of speaks to that same circuit board design that we spoke about in the other video. If we get to the grip, these grips are really popular. We actually sell quite a lot of them just standalone, because as with most products, obviously the more you play, the quicker these things wear. But with the ability to just take one off and put a new replacement grip on, it's really great to be able to put a comfortable grip like this on. So these are in the sort of buffed variety that they come in, so you get the perforated and the buffed. And we often call this buffed a sort of like suede type feel, and it really is popular, and it's really comfortable, and it's quite evident to see. Often a couple of years ago, people would buy a brand new stick, take the plastic off and put an overgrip, a chamois or a shamrocks or something over the top, because they didn't like what the actual grip that the stick came standard from the factory with. But yeah, these, if you've played with one of these before, you'll know these are really comfortable in the hands, and you get a lot of grip, and even in wet conditions. So that is really beneficial, and it does make these limiteds even more sought after. End cap, you've got a traditional Osaka end cap, and yeah, that is pretty much the look of the Pro Tour Limited Lobo. Let me grab the Pro Bow and we can check a little bit of the differences on the Pro Bow. Right, so I've got the Pro Tour Limited Pro Bow. You'll notice that it's green and not red, and everything else on this stick is exactly the same as the Pro Tour Limited Lobo, except for the bow. So I'll quickly talk about this, and then we'll have a look at them, the two of them next to each other, and you'll see the difference. So the Pro Bow, really popular in Europe, is a 250mm maximum bow position. So up from the head at 250mm, that will be the position where the bow is at its maximum, the bow height is at its maximum. And it's also 24mm, but because it is slightly higher, it gives it that slightly more, or the curve is not as late as the Lobo. And that speaks to certain skill sets. Some guys might like to hit a little bit more. It will help because the head's not so far forward. The Lobo does sort of speak to more aerial skills, drag flicking, overheads, all that sort of thing. But really competent players will be able to do the same skills with both sticks. It's just a subtle difference for those players that like certain skill sets that Lobo will help with, or the Pro Bow will help with. So I really like the green on this stick. It has also proved to be really popular. Great grip, as I said. Osaka end cap as per normal. Maxi head shape, and all the same branding, and design elements as the whole S21 collection. So let's put these two next to each other. And it usually is pretty difficult to show on the video the subtle differences, and when I say subtle, they really are quite subtle. If you traditionally play with a Lobo and you move on to a Pro Bow, you might only notice, like maybe if you're a drag flicker, you might notice that maybe the head's not as far forward and you maybe not whipping the ball as much, but it really is subtle. So if I hold these two together, I've got the Lobo on the right, the Pro Bow on the left. The Lobo's maximum bow height will be at 200mm from the head, and the Pro Bow at 250mm from the head. So when looking at the sort of stick that you should be buying for yourself out of these two, make sure you check out our video where we go through exactly how you select a stick. But ultimately it is looking at the different bow positions and which one suits your game best. It's not a one size fits all. Your skill sets will determine which one you should go for. From a performance point of view, you should get exactly the same performance out of it, except for the fact that your skill sets will require a different one or the other bow. Right, so that's our look at this S21 collection Pro Tour Limited range. We have the Lobo and the Pro Bow. If you are looking for a stick that's A, very cool, and B, performs at a really high level, you should definitely consider one of these. If you have any other questions, I'll try to go through as much as possible, but if you have any other questions, pop them in the comments below. Please give the video a like. If you're not yet subscribed, please do so, and we'll see you on our next review.